everybody. So it's been 3 months and now here's a new video. Let's go. It was not the best 3 months for our company for many reasons. Reason number one, we had a few accidents. Reason number two, we had a few times violations. Reason number three, we had a few times situations when we were supposed to call towing and towing was pulling us from the ditch. And reason number four, again, Texas, Houston, Texas. Again, someone stole our stuff, but this time it was not just a tarp, it was like everything with ramps and stands and everything. So let's go. Guys, about accidents. Thanks God we didn't have any big accidents. We just had small accidents, at the truck stops, at the shippers, receivers, rest areas, stuff like that, like always. So, and, I was thinking about many companies got like these stickers on the mirrors where it says GOAL, right? Which means which means abbreviation GOAL, which means go outside and look. So my phone is dying. All right, so guys, we're not gonna do that. Let's not put the stickers, on mirrors, but please just follow this rule. I'm sure all these accidents we could avoid if drivers would go outside and look where they're going. Don't be lazy. I know, especially right now when it's cold, you have to put a jacket on and go outside and look, but guys, do that. Like, we could avoid every single accident which we had, and we had many of them. Please do that. And two is I'll show you two pictures where drivers didn't make enough wide turn because the road was too narrow, and both times drivers were just following GPS, which I had like habit when I was driving, what I was doing. When I got information from a dispatch, what I was doing, I was just like checking. I was checking the route between the interstate and to the shipper, or interstate to the receiver, because in interstate you are safe, right? There's no like a tiny roads, but between interstate I was always checking it, and I am it just advice. Just do that too, and you could avoid these situations too. If you see that the road look like like a zigzag, it means most likely there's mountains, maybe there's some residential area, maybe there's some like lakes or something, so it looks like zigzag. You better call to your dispatch and check directions. So again, we could avoid it. Moving forward, we got violations for a few reasons. Reason number one, PC explanation. Guys, if you're using PC, again, it's a personal convenience. You cannot put looking for parking. Looking for parking, it's part of your job, and it's not a reason to use personal PC. We had situation when we got a violation in North Dakota right after a start. Driver was following everything. 11 minutes of PC, 11 minutes of PC, but because he was putting like a comments looking for parking, he got this inspection. Driver sent me a police report. I was so pissed. I called to way station. It's right on the border, North Dakota and Minnesota. I called to way station. I asked why we got only 11 minutes we got a violation. He explained me that we can put looking for parking only when we're at the shipper or the receiver, because let's say it took like 5 hours to get loaded or drop the load, you don't have enough hours, and shipper is asking you, or receiver is asking you to leave because they're gonna close the gate. By law, you can go to the closest safe parking, and this way you can put a comments on PC you can put a comments, looking for the closest park, looking for a safe park and something like that. But when driver was going from Washington to Chicago, Illinois, and he got pulled over in North Dakota, you cannot put looking for a parking, because there's no law like that. If he would put went to grocery store or went to bank or went to pharmacy, which actually personal convenience, he would not get this violation. So again, you guys are putting something which makes more sense for personal convenience, or you can put a comments going to the closest parking only when you're at the shipper or at the receiver. Violation number 2, why we got is driver in 2 weeks, 14 days, he made 6,000 miles and he didn't put it one single time, he didn't put a fuel. Guys, doesn't make any sense. We all know that trucks are running on diesel, there's no fuel for 2 weeks. Police officer asked, how are you running without a fuel? Because there is no 15 minutes on duty. Obviously, he couldn't explain why. We got a violation for that. If you got a fuel, there is supposed to be on duty 15 minutes with common fuel. Third violation why we got is driver was going for 2 weeks, and obviously there is many bill of ladings in his truck, and there's many times he put a comments pickup and delivery, but he was running for 2 weeks with one bill of lading number, which doesn't make sense. Every time when you guys picking up a load, it needs to be new bill of lading number. If on the day when you was delivering the load and you were picking up the load, just put a one number / another number, right? So 2 numbers. When you are rolling, when you're loaded already, just put a one number, okay, and you were going. Next, again, let's get back to how heavy can we be when axles on a trailer is tandem and axles spread. Tandem, 34,000 pounds, going to California, it needs to be 34,000 pounds and it needs to be tandem. Anywhere else, it should be spread. But instead of Florida, it needs to be tandem too, just in California, but instead of Florida, it's a 44,000 pounds, not 34, 44. Anywhere else, you can make it spread and it's 40,000 pounds. So again, on the steer, let's talk about the truck. Steer 12,000 pounds or 13,000 pounds, it depends on your tires. On your tire, it should say it's 12 or 13. On the drive axle, it's always 34,000 pounds. And on the trailer, because most of our trailers are 53 with a spread axle, with a spread axle 40,000 pounds, with a tandem 34,000 pounds. Guys, 34, 40. We got a few times in the last 3 months, we got a few times out of service only because drivers forgot that going to California, they need to have 34,000 pounds on the back. And they were going, let's say, from Chicago, Illinois to California, they were totally fine with a spread axle. Instead of Nevada, right on the border with California, they decided to make a tandem. They were loaded too far on the back. They're 36,000 pounds. They're going to state of California, out of service because you are too heavy on your tail. So you have to think in Illinois at the shipper. He was supposed to think about it in Illinois, and load was not too heavy. It was like 40,000 pounds. They just loaded it way too far on the tail, right? So instead of loaded between axles, they loaded right in the middle of the trailer, which obviously too heavy on the tail. What else? We got one time we got a violation because driver picked up a load from job site. Guys, let's put it this way: if you go into the shipper where they're shipping coils, some pipes, some material which you can tell at the shipper if there's multiple trucks and they ship it many times a day, many times a week, and they know what is exact weight. If you go into the job site, you're the only one truck there. Guys, they're just guessing how heavy is a load. They don't know for sure because they're moving this material one time in a few months, maybe one time in a few years. They're just guessing. So what happened? Driver got loaded. On the rate confirmation on the bill of lading, it was 40,000 pounds. at the weigh station we found that he was 55,000 pounds, right? And obviously broker and the shipper, they're like, guys, we have nothing to do with that because you were supposed to go to the closest truck stop, which makes a lot of sense. You were supposed to go to the closest truck stop, come back and let us know if you were too heavy. We were just guessing, you know, from point A to point B, you guys are responsible for anything what happens with you. I mean, we got their point. So again, it's a forklift at the weigh station, waste of time, waste of money. So if you're at the job site, as soon as you're loaded, go to the closest truck stop, check your weight, and this is the only way to do that. Okay, another thing, guys, most of you on your winch track, you got like a bolt, so your winch will not be right above your tire. If you don't have these bolts, you know what happens. I will show you in the picture. Driver didn't use a winch, right? So winch was like going back and forth. He was going because of the shakes. His winch moved little by little. It moved and it made like a damage on the tire. I'll show you a picture. You guys will see what happens. So if you want to avoid this kind of situation, what you do, you just put a bungee. First, check if you got this bolt. Most of you got it. If you don't, just put a bungee and put it around the winch and put a bungee on a rail. You know, so it's not gonna slide and you won't damage your tire. Next, Houston. What happened in Houston is, guys, before we had situation when someone was stealing our stuff. It was tarps. Before it was just tarps, which were $800 because each tarp, 8 feet tarp was $400. They stole 2, it was $800. This time situation is different. It's a different level. Guys, this time they stole all ramps, all stands, tires, tarps. So it was, I would say, $10,000. I'm not joking. And by the way, spare tire was not even seated on the deck. It was on you know, tire rack. So spare tire rack, you know. So there's some people. Why police is not doing anything about it, we don't know. We are not the only one company. I know many people in Chicago who was dealing with it too, and they're doing it during daytime, nighttime. They're doing it 24/7. So again, if you guys in Houston, Texas, let's just make a rule: we are not sleeping there. If you have to drop a load in Houston, Texas, you're sleeping 50 miles away, 100 miles away from Houston, and then you just keep rolling in the morning, dropping a load, picking up a load, and going somewhere else because it's ridiculous. It's like it's bad. Okay, Houston, Texas. Next, guys, some of you just ignoring us when we're asking about the pictures of the load. It helped us many times already. And please do not ignore us. Do not ignore your dispatch because of it helps. It really does. And please, as soon as you're loaded, before you put a tarp, picture 1. After you put a tarp, picture 2. Send it to your dispatch. We're gonna save it at our computer, and it will cover it will cover us. Next, guys, most of you never had. Most of you didn't work during a slow time, right? Last June of 2020, it's time when everything went up, and most of you never worked before June of 2020. So you guys don't know what it is slow. And what happened last Wednesday, it was very slow. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, market went down, I would say 25-30% down, and we were a little bit shocked with dispatchers, and we were like, okay, we need to adjust. It took some time. We're looking at the load board. There's absolutely nothing. And many of you call dispatchers because again, you never worked during slow time. Call dispatchers, started to complain. Why am I sitting without a load? Why it's too short? Why I have to tarp? I mean, some jokes, some comments which absolutely not. I mean, unnecessary, right? And drivers who actually got many years of experience. They didn't they didn't text us, they didn't call, they knew what's happening. They just trust us and trust dispatchers. They're doing their best. And please guys, these jokes, this comment, these calls are not necessary. I mean, when dispatch is on the phone with you and he's trying to explain it, that he's trying to book the best load for you and for the company, there's many loads which he can lose. Just be patient, please. We are trying our best. Trust your dispatch, okay? Especially when driver got like Texas to Washington 2,400 miles and he's complaining about that he was sitting and waiting for 3 hours for this load. I mean, I think it's worth it. Like, you're sitting for 3 hours and instead of go to, let's say, Louisiana, 400 miles, you got all the way to Washington. I think it's worth it. Yes, you were waiting for the load and there's not so many long runs. There's multiple loads, short runs, 400 miles, 500 miles, right? It's not that easy. Even when it's busy, it's not that easy to get long miles. Because we know you guys like long miles. That's what we do. That's what we are trying to do. Give you a long miles. So please be patient. Like, please respect what they do, and let's respect each other. Okay. What else? Just a reminder, guys, we do not pay for amount of tarps. If it's 4-foot tarp, it doesn't matter. It was a small, tiny load, and you use the one tarp, or you took the whole trailer and you put a 2 4-foot tarps. It's still $50. If it's 8-foot tarps, and it took the whole trailer, or just like let's say it's a partial load and you use it's only $100. We do not pay for amount of the tarps. We pay for size. Big tarp, $100. Small tarp, $50. That's all, okay? You don't have to, when you are calling Rolls and you're telling her, hey, listen, it was multiple tarps. I mean, we pay the same for 1 tarp or 2 tarps, okay? Moving forward. Holidays. Guys, now Thanksgiving is coming, then Christmas, the New Year, and this season, winter season, like holiday after holiday, and please, try your best to schedule your home time, holidays you're at home, right? So because some of you asking a week before some holidays, you're asking to be at home, you don't have any appointment, you don't have, I mean, we respect your home time. I understand when it's like an appointment or like some birthday or some important thing, and you have to be at home. I understand that. But when you're, let's say, just it's time to go home, you're tired and you want to go home, I mean, just try your best. Maybe it would make sense to spend another week on the road and be at home on Thanksgiving and be at home with your family on Christmas. So because when everybody is on a holiday, right, mood, logistics, trucking industry on a holiday mood too, and there's less loads. So when you're trying to be on the road and you want us to give you long miles because it's like a 4 or 5 days of the holidays, right? You want to get a long miles, we cannot give it to you because of, there's not so many loads. And on a holiday season, right? Like a few days before the holidays. So it's better for you, it's better for us. If you would work when everybody work and you would be at home when it's holidays. Okay, what else? Miles, guys, if you are not happy with the way Rolls is doing your miles, please, there's a new rule. You used to, usually you were sending like a picture of the bill of lading with size of the tarp, right, and subject, like 4 8-foot tarp. From now on, if you're not happy with the way we are counting your miles, we're totally fine with that. I want you to make your money for every single mile which you made, please let's send it 3 pictures. Picture number 1, it's a bill of lading after load is delivered, right? Picture number 2, it's a picture from your GPS where it says from the place where you were to the shipper, because we pay for loaded and empty miles, to the shipper, right, when you were empty. And the second picture, take it from your GPS where roads can see from the shipper to the receiver. So this way we're gonna pay you for every single mile because you're following your GPS navigation, right? And I agree, like Google Map, it's not for semi trucks, but there's only 2 kind of like applications, Google Map or PC Miler. PC Miler is even worse than Google Map, so we decided to go with Google Map. But I know that it's not actually miles which you guys are making. We're totally fine to pay you for every single mile, but we need some proof, right? How many miles you guys made. And the only way how I can see it, it's a picture from your GPS, okay? We don't pay for you going to the Walmart. We don't pay you for you like going to the truck stop or home. We pay from the shipper to the receiver, receiver to the shipper. That's all, guys. I think that's all for now. In the future, next video will be about why I'm actually behind me some construction stuff, right? We are moving again. Let's talk about it in the next video. We are moving here on December 1st. From December 1st, you guys do not go to East Dundee anymore. I'll text you, I'll call you, we'll talk about it. But the next video will be about moving again from East Dundee to Melrose Park. That's where I am right now. We'll talk about a winter, because winter is coming, snow, wind, and the black ice, all this stuff. We have to talk about it. I want you to be safe. We appreciate what you guys do, and we'll be in touch. If you have any ideas, any topics for me for future videos, let me know. Be safe over there, okay? Bye.